Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to episode 101 of DevChatter. For those of you who don't know, my name is Brendan. Hello. It said that right down here, so you probably figured that out without me telling you. And then also, you can find me on Twitter at Brendonius, and you can also find DevChatter on Twitter under DevChatter_. So I linked that in the chat as well. Welcome everybody who's here from the Visual Studio channel who was lurking around there. Maybe you caught C# Fritz's stream earlier today. I did not catch that. However, I know he was talking about some behind-the-scenes stuff in streaming. So hopefully you all learned some interesting things about that. We are going to be doing a coding stream today. Specifically, we're going to be working on C#. We'll probably touch a little bit of JavaScript as well. And we're going to be doing a little bit of merging and cleanup of some of the code that we've been working on. So a little bit of architecture discussion, probably a little bit of merging in Git, probably a little bit of coding in JavaScript because there's a couple of things I want to finish up before we merge in our branches. But that's the main stuff we're going to be working on today. This may end up being a cat stream as well, as my cat is already roaming around the room and trying to cause problems. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, welcome everybody. I see a bunch of people saying hi in chat. It's good to see you all. Let's go ahead and get started with some things. Let's see what everybody said real fast. A bunch of highs, hellos, greetings. Hello everybody, welcome. Names with underscores at the end of the vest. Exactly, Greendolf. Sometimes you just can't get the name you want. And developers. So, welcome everybody. Is there anything else I needed to cover before we get started? If anybody hasn't yet, check out our Discord, and all of our code is out on GitHub, so standard links at the beginning of the stream. Let's take a look. So, yesterday we had our 100th stream, and for the 100th stream we celebrated a few things by writing code. Surprise, surprise. We took a look at some of the base structures of our application and how we could improve them so that they match better with some of the structures that we want to have, with special thought given to the idea that right now we're connected to Twitch, but we're going to want to be able to connect to other services, like YouTube, Mixer, Discord, maybe Slack, so various other chat clients we might want to connect to, as well as other streaming platforms. So we took a look at some of the base structures that originally we tied to Twitch, but we tried to keep them mostly agnostic of the streaming platform. A couple of things bled in, but we've gotten those mostly fixed up. So I want to get this merged in. So I had a work in progress commit at the end of the stream yesterday. Now you might notice that I put this WIP on the beginning of my commit message, the last one we had in here, and the reason I do that is it's an indication to myself and to anybody else that there's something incomplete in this commit. So if you don't do this, this is a good practice. I recommend if you're committing something that's not ready for someone else, but you want it committed, either so that you can get things the way you want and commit a piece at a time, or because you're at the end of your time, you know, hey, you gotta go home, so you commit. That's kind of the idea. And what we were in the middle of is we were changing how our bot handles its automated messages that it sends out. And because of the change we made, we reintroduced a bug that we had before that we had fixed, because we needed to disable something. So at this point, I now have the decision, do I go on the path to fixing that the correct way so that we get rid of the bug, or do we continue on and plan on getting that bug resolved later? My plan right now is to leave it alone and come back for it in a little bit, because I think that I want to try and get everything that we've got here stabilized before we do that. So the bug that exists right now, just for a quick explanation, is that it will occasionally send out multiple automated messages. And the reason for that is that I believe I removed the buffered message sender, which is what rate limits our messages so they don't go out as frequently. I may either reintroduce that, or take a different route to make it work. And if you were here yesterday, you would have seen why we needed to do this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the code, though. Just so you're aware, the code that we're running right now is the code for the bot that's in the chat right now. So if you're taking a look at the bot in chat and noticing, anything weird like it spams a bunch of messages, that's why. Hey, Kevin, welcome. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this wired up. We are in... what's our branch name? We are in Architecture Rework. Okay, that's the one that we want to be in. And as part of that, we did a couple of module adjustments, as I recall. Automated message module is what we wired up. I want to see if there's a quick, easy way to get that buffered message sender wired up before we move on. So this creates all those interval messages we were using. And the automated message was what had the... Let me see if there's a way to do this. With parameter. What's the automated messages parameter for that? It's called chat clients? No, that's not going to work. Welcome, everybody, from the C# Brit stream. Hopefully you're all having a good day and ready for some more code writing. Breaking news, that is, yesterday we named the dyno. Oh, yes, SNB is correct. We took a vote yesterday. And, CM Griffin, hey, welcome. Thank you for the host there. Much appreciated. Raid, sorry, not a raid, not a host, a raid. Welcome, everybody. We're going to be doing some C# and probably some JavaScript coding today. Should be a good one. Can we get some of those Chatosaurus hype emotes in chat there from our subs in the chat, please? Mage. I don't think... I must have stopped the bot when I was doing this. Anyway, we'll go ahead and start it back up again. Because the... and actually, I don't even have that... I don't think I have that overlay turned on right now, so it wasn't going to work anyway for what you were trying to do. So, hang on. Oh, sorry. I killed it, Mage. Now we can do it, though. There you go. So we have raid defense turned on here. Don't worry. There you go. Okay. So anyway, that's why it's wired up this way. So we're creating these types, and it doesn't know specifically that it needs to be using the buffered message sender instead of the standard one. So that's why it's not working yet. So what we're going to need to do in order to make this work is we need to find a way of telling the system that interval messages need a special case. So I think we're either going to need another interface or we're going to have to tell the IOC container about our decorator pattern that we're using. One or the other. Either way, we'll get that wired up. I just wanted to explain what it was we were going to be missing here. So, step 1 is confirming that things look good enough to commit in their current state, and if they are, I'm going to merge this into master so that we can get the rest of the system going the way that we want it to. And then we're going to switch to our voting overlay because I want to get that branch merged in as well. So that's what we're trying to do today is clean up some of the branches we've got sitting out, finish some of the tasks we've got outstanding, and just generally stabilize things so we're ready to add in our next streaming platform and or chat service. So we want to connect our bot to Discord next. So that is a minor and stupid change that I am not going to bother with just yet. So what I am going to do is this. I am going to hop over onto the website, and I am going to go to GitHub, and we're going to send in a pull request from our architecture rework. It may not be ready to commit yet. Architecture rework before multi-service. Okay. So this, as I mentioned, is going to be a big change, and I want to take a look at what we modified. So one of the big things was we removed our dependence on the buffered message sender, which actually we might be able to put back. We'll have to take a look at that. We might be able to make that work. Because I may have just thought of what we can do to get that working. So, logger, register actions, registered, add range, chat client, subscription handler, followable service. So, looks like we removed a bunch of stuff from our bot main yesterday. That's nice. We created a new type here. A new interface type, I should say. We removed a concrete class, it looks like. So that's nice. Removed a couple of other bits out of that interface, so we slimmed down an interface there. And renamed a couple of other things. That looks good. That's our streaming system that we moved over. Subscriber handler we created. Made a message. Okay, I think that's good. Let's try and add the last piece here. Hey, welcome. Okay, so I am actually going to make this modification. So here's what I'm going to try. So the bot's working right now, but I want to see if we can make buffered message senders be what we're actually storing here. So buffered message senders, buffered message senders. Okay. So now when I run this, I think what's going to happen is it's not going to know how to wire these up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this with debugging so that we actually break on the thrown exception and take a look at what we end up with. There we go. Nope, I don't need to stop there. Looks like it wired up. That's interesting. I'm gonna drop a breakpoint on invoke there, and we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll catch it. While that's waiting, I'm going to go ahead and open up a Git shell, and I'm going to navigate over to where our code is. So we'll just watch that for the debug breakpoint to catch, because it's time-based. This is DevChatter on stream. And we have 2 files modified. Okay. This is taking too long to fire, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and force one of these to be ready to run so that it will. So let's head down to, where is it? It's interval messages, viewed data. We're just going to modify one of these records and say that it, whoops, data already ran. Did it try to send a message there? Hang on. Okay, so I just adjusted the time on that one. Actually, a couple of these maybe should have run already. That one certainly should now. But we aren't catching the breakpoint, which makes me wonder whether these are executing correctly. So we will have to find out. So that's an automated message. Automated messages are used inside of the automation system. And the automation system should be looking for these when it runs already actions. Yeah, Zarno, we'll see what's going on. This should be running. It may just not have wired them up. So I'm going to toss the breakpoint here, and we're going to check on initialization, because it might be that they're not there. if it didn't know, so I expected to actually get caught on the when it was building the object, but it didn't, and so that's what had me thrown off. So it really does have the 7 register actions here. Our automated messages are here. Chat clients, it has no chat clients, so that's why. So as we guessed, it didn't know how to wire those up, so it didn't. What that tells us, though, is that we need to tell it about the buffered message senders. So what I'm going to do is this. I am going to register one additional thing. So we're going to say builder.registerType, and it is going to be a buffered message sender as self. What does this take in? This takes in an iChat client. Okay, I think now it will wire up correctly. So we're going to check that and see what happens. Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. So if you're to the west of me, good morning. If you're around here, good afternoon. If you are to the east of me, good evening. And if you are far, far away, then I guess good night? One chat client. And what is it? It's a buffered message sender. Alright, looks good. So it should send out that one message that I modified. SharkDeed. No reason specifically. I'm running this through IIS Express, but obviously I could run it through Kestrel. Wouldn't make a huge difference. So one of them's trying to run, so I'm going to let it go. Should probably send the message in there, although I might have been catching the currency update instead of the chat message. Although I did not confirm that the buffered message sender itself wired up correctly. Which I should do. Buffered message sender. Let's take a look. It's supposed to take in a single chat client. I'm going to put a breakpoint there. Let's go ahead and stop this. We're going to start it again because we still didn't get that message. Alright, Ancient Coder, yeah, we are on episode 101. Yesterday we did our 100th episode of DevChatter here, and actually we named our little hype dinosaurs, our dinosaur mascot that we use here. They are now officially called Chattosauruses. The internal chat client looks like, it's a Twitch chat client. Okay, that's what we wanted. So it looks like those are getting wired up. We wire up all the actions with those. Okay, it should be working, I think. So I guess we just have to wait and watch for one. Maybe while it was running before, it updated the data and that's why it didn't run. Oh, yes, it did. Okay. So it wasn't able to send the message because it didn't actually have a chat client to use, but it still records that it sent. So I'm going to trigger a couple of those. They hopefully will run here in a moment. Automation system. Where are you? Ready actions right there. Oh, actually I wanted the breakpoint on the next line. There we go. Ready actions contains how many items? No results. How are there none? Lies. The currency update. Has a Twitch chat client. Those dates update at all? Welcome, Egg. Thank you for following. me take a look. Those times didn't update. Okay, so it didn't even try to run them. Okay, automated message. Is it next runtime? Let me get the breakpoint here. Why does it think that it's not next runtime? 625 and it is 624. Okay, so this is the wrong one. How about the next one? So that one says it's supposed to run in basically a minute from now. Oh, there they go. Okay, cool. So they did fire out. We were apparently just waiting for them to go. Okay, so that's working. Oh, we probably hit their minute buffer. That's what it is. Toxic, welcome. Thanks for following. Alright, so we fixed up this so have the automated messages use the buffered message sender. There we go. So we're gonna go ahead and commit that, push it up. Yeah, Ancient Coder, I know there are a lot of people in the British summertime as well as Central European summertime that are able to catch the stream pretty nicely because I'm on in the evening for everyone that's in those time zones. I'm a little bit late for Eastern European summertime, but I'm also not super early for the people in the west coast of the United States because our 2 o'clock start time for me puts it at an 11 a.m. start time for them, so it's not bad. Alright, so we can close that, and we can go ahead and get the project up and running. We need to refresh this page with that change, and we are going to then wait on that to go green. While we wait, I want to get things ready for this merge that we need to do to switch to our other branch. So, git status should be nothing. Git checkout master, git pull. I always like to hop over to master, make sure it's up to date. Then I want to git checkout benric slash, what is that one called? That one is the overlay something or other. Git branch, git checkout benric slash, it must have been called overlay, right? Oh, no, it's voting overlay. That's why I couldn't find it. It's voting overlay. So we will do that. Did I spell architecture wrong in there? I probably did. Architecture. I did in the pull. I got it right in the pull request. Must have typoed it in the branch. Is that what you're saying? Architecture. Oh, stool penner. I have no idea where I typoed that. Anyway, here's what we want to do. Git. Oh no, the bot's not running right now. No, I wanted voting overlay. Git benric voting, and I want to merge in the benric architecture one. So benric architecture rework. There we go. Because I think that will actually save us a little bit of time once this gets merged in to have already done that. So hopefully that will clear that up. We are waiting on our, we have 2 automated builds set up through AppVeyor. One of them checks every branch that we commit. So if we do break a branch, we know about it. But then in addition, there's a second one that checks the pull request branch before we merge in. So we will wait on those. We have that set up already. So I will talk to you then about what we are planning on doing. once we get this going. So since that's merged in, we should have both sets of changes. I'm going to try to run it. We'll see what happens. Cross your fingers. I changed some architecture level stuff. Hey, it worked. Okay. So probably working, but let's go ahead and set up a new vote. Let's vote on JavaScript, C#, Java, C++, Python. What other things exist that anyone might actually program in Ruby? There we go. There's our vote. Go in there. Oh, sorry, Will Bennett, I did not add F#. That was my bad. I will also vote for 2. So that's the voting feature that we set up recently. That's what this branch is, kind of. But I'm not showing you what's in that branch just yet, because there's something else we need to do for that. Also, since I know there are some new people in here, I figure I should mention, you can also check out our Discord, which actually is fairly active, with a number of people talking about different coding stuff. There was a big to-do this morning, I guess afternoon for some of you, that had to do with the Azure outage that we had today, so kind of an interesting one. Probably not a fun day for anybody that actually works on that team, but hey, what are you gonna do? Ooh, build failed. Let's check it out. What did I miss? I missed something. Buffered message sender, build start. Cannot convert. Oh, I know what the problem is. Alright, so we're going to end that vote. C# wins with 5 votes, everybody. Good job. Alright, let's go ahead and switch back to that other branch. So git checkout Benrick architecture. So we're going to hop back over there because yeah, they were saying there was a temperature issue. Which is really kind of weird, actually. So this is in... Which test was that? Yeah, I got that it was in the tests. Let's see. Did I seriously not build this? Ah, unit test project failed. So it runs, but it doesn't build. Well, that's what I get for not clicking that. Thanks. Derp. Buffered message sender. There we go. It's literally the only change we have to make, and then it suddenly will work. And that is actually, like, realistically, that test is the way we want it to work eventually. So that's why it's kind of annoying to write it that way. We just need to figure out our IOC container a little bit better, but I don't want to mess with that today, because that's not what I want to work on. I want to work on something else, so we're going to wire it together with that, because it's really not that bad to use the concrete type that's actually going to get in there. We have that as part of our core application anyway, so it's not the worst dependency to pick up. It's not one that I'm worried about causing a problem. Is actually probably the best way of phrasing that. So git checkout. Hang on. That was... so a lot of people ask me, like, hey, how do you do this? How do you undo a thing? And to which I just say, you know what? There are a bunch of ways of doing it, including the right way in a couple of places, and every once in a while I will tell you, you know what? There is actually a right way to do it, and it's actually faster to just nuke it. So the number of times that someone has said, like, hey, I borked my repository, this went wrong, and I'm like, okay. You can either do a reset hard with a, head tilde 3, or you can just you know, delete that and get it again because you didn't actually have any changes? Oh, yeah, okay. And they'll be like, how's the right way to do it? And I was like, well, the right way is whatever way works. And since I know I don't have any changes locally, it's pretty easy to just do that and you end up with the right solution. So a lot of times I recommend away from going and figuring out all the craziness for how to do those. Because I can tell you the way to do it, but it's faster just to nuke it. ThinkBot Labs, hey, welcome. Good afternoon. Okay, so that should work now. Let's take a look at... Did I pull this into its own thing after that, or was this always... No, okay, there we go. So, our build is going again. We're going to get that merged in. Hey! Sudo get. Thank you very much for the Twitch Prime subscription. Please make sure to spam some chattosauruses into the chat now that you have them. And I'd like to see some others in there from anybody who's got them. Because hype that up as we get another dino in the chat. Derp-a-derp. Okay, so that's going to take longer than I'd like, so I will show you guys the state of this. So I showed you what the voting piece is. We built that last Thursday at the end of a stream. We did a Q&A session with someone. We had Cassandra Ferris on here. She was an awesome guest that talked to us about career growth, networking, interviewing for jobs, finding jobs, recruiting, and other things like that. It was a very fun discussion. At the end of it, we still wanted to do some development, so we built a little voting feature, and that was kind of fun. At the end of the stream on Saturday then, after talking about Liskov substitution for most of the stream, we decided that it would be a cool idea to add an overlay to the voting system, so we added that as well. So, to show you all how that works, I am going to say vote, create, JavaScript, C#, F#, Python, Ruby, Java, C++, C. What else do we want to have? Oh, C, you get to vote for your F# now. And what are some of the languages we want to have in here? Because this is important stuff, everybody. This one does not exist, but has a long name. There we go. Okay, so we started adding this little overlay, and we haven't totally fleshed it out yet, but you'll notice that up above me, up there, we have a listing of all the values that we're voting on, which is really, really useful when doing a vote through chat, because something that people asked about when we were doing some voting yesterday, and we were not using this overlay, somebody said, hey, can you repeat the options? Now, there's a couple of problems with the options that we've got listed up there right now. Issue number 1, we are not displaying the number next to them, so it's hard for someone to determine which one to vote for. Also, nowhere does it say that that's voting. And then the last thing, we're not reporting back the results at all. So, I'd like to get that going a little bit better as well. So, come on. Oh, good. So branch finished. Now it just needs to do the PR one, and as long as the PR one comes back positive, we can click the merge button. That'll go in. We will update this branch as well to do it, and it should work. You guys probably had enough time to vote. What one? There's a tie. This one does not exist, but has a long name, C++, C#, F#. That's nice. Good job, everybody. Way to make a tie there. I'm really impressed, actually. I didn't think you could pull it off, but you did. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Yeah, well done, chat. Well done. You did great. Great work. All right. Let's hop over into that overlay.js file. So we had a vote start, a vote end, and I kind of want to get like a vote update or something like that. Or maybe vote received. Vote received. We'll do that. Vote received. So voting, we're gonna say record vote received. We don't receive choices, we receive vote info. There we go. So we're going to receive vote info, which means we're going to need to do a little bit of extra stuff to make that happen. So right now, vote start is what's called, and it passes in choices. So vote start in our bot hub. We'll start adding it here. Vote received. Duplicate that, add that there. And it is some kind of info type object. I don't know what it is yet. I called it vote info. So that seems to me like we need two things. We need to know what number what they voted for, and who it was and what they voted for. Because I think that's going to be useful to know who voted and what they voted for. So let's jump to the voting section in our C#. Where did we put voting? I thought we had it in its own section. Voting module, there it is. Found it. Let's create a DTO object for this. We'll call this vote info DTO. And actually, I'm going to let it use the naming recommendation it does there of a capital D, lowercase t, lowercase o. And I'm really looking forward to record types in C#8 so that we can make DTOs and other objects like this by basically just defining their constructor. And they'll be better objects than these because they'll have a lot of things that I'm not going to take the time to wire up. So, the things that we need to have in here, we need to have string display name, maybe voter name, int voter choice. So what they voted for and what their name is. Should it actually matter who voted for what? Ancient coder, yes, because I want to pop up on the bottom of the screen, you know, ancient coder voted for C#, ancient coder voted for so. And Stoolpenner's right, so even if we don't wire that up immediately, it's potentially useful to have, and I would rather start with an object, because it's easier to change to, it's easier to add a property to an object than to switch from we passed an individual number to switching to an object. So that's part of the reason I'm doing that, is it sets up the idea that we're passing a DTO. Okay, so vote info DTO, and actually I'm going to rename the file, which it won't do. Son of a, can't tell that's wrong. It suggested fixing it. Thanks, Resharper. What a piece of junk. She'll make something past light speed. I don't remember what. I give up. Sorry, guys. Vote info. Vote info. There we go. So we're going to receive a vote info. We are going to pass that down, which means we need to have it here. It's going to be a task of vote info, vote info. What do we got? You need to change the name to something else first. Resharper's helping, or it won't change it. Vote receive. What are you talking about? Oh, you're right. It didn't change it. Yeah, it didn't change it. Derp. Okay, well, there we go. Got it changed. Thank you for mentioning. I hadn't realized I hadn't gotten it fixed yet. So, thank you. Resharper's like... Yeah, okay. So, vote received. Good catch, by the way, on that one. Let's go to the voting system. And on the voting system, we are going to call the same kind of method, a vote received method, on our overlay notification. When we do an apply vote. So, that's their chosen number, display name, vote chosen, is valid number, so vote text is valid number. Okay, so I just want to do it if they voted for a valid number. So, because we report back nothing otherwise, so we're going to say underscore overlay notification vote received, and this will pass in a vote. Actually, do we want the DTO here? Chat user and chosen number. I'm going to try this for now, and we'll take a look at what happens. I'm not 100% on where I want the DTO to get created. Let me see what's going on in chat. It's a Visual Studio issue. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah. So if you are a C or C++ developer, you can absolutely use Visual Studio for that. I know plenty of developers that use it. So let's jump up here to vote start, and boom, there we go. Vote received, and instead of this, we're going to call await underscore internal. What? Wait, what? Oh, async, derp. I'm like, why is it freaking out about this? That should be fine. Clients all, and we're gonna say vote received, new DTO. I think this is a great place to create the DTO, because this wrapper understands the fact that we are connected to some external service, and it needs a DTO object. So vote choice is going to be chosen number, and I'm going to create this variable on its own line. So vote info, and we're going to do this. So chosen number, and I see a bunch of people saying stuff in chat. I will get to all of you in a moment. Chat user dot display name. There we go. Okay, let's see. Crimson Green, what's a Visual Studio? I got a haircut over the weekend, Crimson Green. Wow. Last time I see. Yeah, so Visual Studio has some really powerful stuff. And yes, he's right. Shader toy stuff. I saw that. It was cool, actually. All right, so I think did I actually wire up enough stuff for that to get passed down to here? At which point, on voting, we can make a votes received. So here's our voting object. There's vote start. Vote received. We are going to put those on the public interface of this. So vote received. Var vote received equals function needs its context, and vote info, I think is what we called on this, but I will verify that in a second. Over here we passed in vote info right after the context, so context and vote info. So, what do we want to do for this one? So right now what we're doing with this is we're not, oh sorry guys, the bot's not running. I will get the bot running for you and we'll finish this in a second. Crimson Green's correct. That would be the way of actually calling that command. Oh, good. Our all of our stuff passed. I'm going to go ahead and merge that into master now. So that's the change that we did earlier that we were waiting to get merged in, and that ought to get it going. So there we go, merged in. So now the branch that we're working on is the next one that we want to get merged into master, so should work well. Delicious, delicious. All right. The voting object. I think that we need to call display choices every time we do this, but not pass in that. I think we want to set the choices on this object. Evening, lucky number 7. Oh, yeah, sorry, the official badger. I don't think I've got the actual hype happening right now. I can turn it back on. There you go. Now if you use the hype command, you should get a better result, although I think it's on cooldown now. Yep, see, it's on cooldown, so you got 41 seconds, and then you can try it again. Or one of the mods might trigger it for you. There you go, S&B did, so... Thanks, S&B. Okay, so we're calling that, we did vote received. Here's what I want to do. We need to record the choices and the votes. So... So choices is an empty list. We want it to be an empty list, right? Although realistically, what? Hang on. Actually, that's going to get confusing if I do that. Because that's that one. Yes, the official badger. More channels do need hype. Okay, so trying to figure out names. As you all know, names are the toughest thing in all programming. Options equals that. I was debating whether I should do a this, that. So if I do this, that sets the options, and then instead of passing them here, whoops, we come down to this point, instead of receiving choices, we instead use options to display. So we're no longer running off of choices, that's just setting the value. Literally, it's just going to do this, and then we have it as part of the larger object. There are two, yes, and off by 1 errors. Good job, you got it. And I'm glad you did cache invalidation, because that's one of my favorites for the other difficult thing. I don't think we're going to need the isRunning right now, although my plan is when we end the vote, we are going to set options back to an empty array. So we're going to reset that. So we no longer determine isRunning based on that, it's whether or not it has data in it. So this is display choices. Here's what I want to do. When we start the vote, we're going to set those values. But what I want to do is this. I want to make a function that does the display. So display vote overlay? Display vote overlay? It receives a context in order to display. And then all we have to do to make that one work is basically take all of this stuff. So there we go. So that's that one. I'm going to do this. We're going to pass in the context. No CTX. There you go. Which means we need to do the same thing up here. So realistically, they both just need to call that. The only thing that has to happen is instead of options, we then also need votes, which equals that. And so now we just need to, votes equals that, and then var votes equals empty array. So now we have a collection of options and a collection of votes that are internal. They're private objects on our voting object. School starts tomorrow. Oh, bummer. Hopefully you've got some good classes, though. We're working for months with entities called Regulated Thingy and Regulated Thingy 2. S&B, that is painful. Because you need to go there. Yes, problem exists between keyboard and chair. As we would say. Only one problem with that. I'm at a standing desk, so you know that means I don't have a chair that I'm really sitting on. So anyway, let's see. So votes dot. We're going to push on vote info. What did we call it? I don't actually remember. And that totally won't confuse anyone that we're using C# casing here. I think that's the way it gets exists between keyboard and chair. Exactly. Yes. I usually say problem exists, but yeah, pebcac or ebcac if you like. But yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, exactly. I don't have a chair, so I don't make. I'm not the cause of the error. So. Oh, maybe the ebcac is error between keyboard and chair. I don't know. I'm sure there's 100 different ways that people have come up for saying basically the same concept. So we're going to push on a vote, and then we're going to say go ahead and display it. Now, in this case, we're going to say to do announce the vote. So we want to announce that someone voted, because I think that'll be cool to have a little thing that pops up at the bottom and says, hey, so-and-so voted for this. Yeah, okay, you guys do error between keyboard and chair. All right, yeah. I always had problem exists between keyboard and chair, so you end up with that one, but it's pretty much the same thing. So display vote overlay is going to... realistically, we should clear the rectangle at the start of that, shouldn't we? Display vote overlay. Clear the whole thing, and then say fill style, fill that, The text width that we're going to use needs something else. So choices, for example, I realize needs a slight change. So here's what we need to do. When we set choices, I actually want to say .map, and I want to say, actually, now that I think about it, do I have the number when I do this? Hang on, I actually want to look, well, as you guys know, I am not a JavaScript expert. I'm not bad at JavaScript, but not an expert. So, JavaScript map. Let's take a look, interwebs. Actually, JavaScript map with index. I want to see, will it give me the index as well? Wait, index inside map function. Yeah, so here we go. Index. So map, current element, and index. Good, it is. That's what I was just wondering. Is that second value the index? And it is. So .map, at least according to a random person on the internet, which I absolutely trust, regardless of anything. And we're actually just going to use X and I for that, because I'm not too worried about it. So I want to say I plus 1 plus that, and then say plus X, and I want to see what we end up with. So, I apologize everybody, I'm going to turn off the overlay so there's no more hyping in the stream here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to be able to pull this up in a web browser page and see what we get there. So, I think it'll be a little bit easier for me to work with because I can actually check Chrome debug tools to be able to tell what's going on here. So, Chrome debug tools are going to be open, and we're going to watch this potentially fail. Vote new 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Perfect. That did exactly what we wanted, so that means our mapping and our index worked. So that was cool. Did something... You dislike Java, especially. Yeah, sorry about that. The problem is it's still hard to escape from. There's not a good WebAssembly solution yet to avoid JavaScript if you don't like it. Okay, so we've got our numbers displayed there. So we've got our numbers, and the cool thing is the way we put it in, it is giving us the space for that. So that's cool. So that maps them on. Our options now include the number at the beginning. Yeah, Wheatlol, I know there are some options for that kind of thing. Yes, exactly. 0 the string equals 0 the number. Logic. Alright, so we got choices. We map that on, and it is complaining right here that I don't need this because that's a number, but I like to be clear when I do these kinds of things because it's weird. So I don't want anybody confused by that. So those are our options. We grab options.length, we put those in there. Technically I could do this down here. So if we store those values, then what I can do instead to be a little bit nicer on this is make a new variable. So I'm going to say options display. Option displays equals options dot map, and here's what I want to do. Votes. So we're going to say plus that, and then plus votes at whatever point it is. What happens if I... That is a good question. Now again, the OR is going to happen first, so these parentheses I'm adding in are not actually required, but I do them because I like the visual of it a little nicer, and I'm starting to think I maybe shouldn't have mapped this way, but we'll see how it turns out. So that is going to be I, or empty string. Let's see what happens. And actually, let's do this. Plus... There we go. Okay, I don't know what just happened there. So add that and then the votes. Or 0. Okay, there we go. So hang on, vote end. Welcome, person from Russia. Sorry, I forgot I can't actually end a vote that no one has voted on. Which is kind of a silly bug to have there. Wait, why can't I vote? What? Vote Finn? So it knows end is a thing. Alright, I'm confused. Let's just do that. I wanted it reset anyway. We already have to figure out why it won't let us stop the vote when you haven't voted yet, so we'll get that when we get that. Derp. I think what just failed there, I think that was the chatter interface, the chatter call again. And yes, Janisku, I am using my Dino mug again. I gotta wash it specifically with the stream, so, you know, I'm coding derp. It's green, by the way. In JS, you can use curly braces instead of string concatenation. I assume it works like our string interpolation. I haven't tried that, but I will give that a shot, so thank you for the suggestion. Let me see how this works first, though. That's not what I was looking for. This one? There we go. Overlay. Okay, so let's bring that up, just so we can see if there is a problem. So vote, new, Java, C#, F#, JavaScript. That is not a function. What did I do? Port. Oh, derp. That's what I did. Okay. Vote, create. Actually, I'm going to copy that line so I don't have to type it again. So there we go. Java, C#, F#, JavaScript. Oh, because I didn't actually use this. There we go. There we go. That ought to work now. So let's refresh this page and vote end. Thank you for voting. Oh, Java won! How did that happen? That's weird, guys. There you go. It's a weird one for this channel. Java the Hutt. Java the Hutt. There we go. Okay, so as I said, we're going to need better displays because we want these to be like a bar graph almost of a thing. But this is just so we can get an initial setup. So this is V1, and we will nice it up later with better styling. Because realistically, we want this to actually use some kind of a display. Someone has to have a bar graph that we can just use. That there's a library we can include or something like that that'll display bar graphs given data. And then we just need to supply it the values, I think. Oh, someone's voting. Yes, good. Hang on, what do we do? So we push on. Whoops, we don't want to push voter choice. We want to. Yeah, that's not how we want to do it. We want votes for a specific number. So we want to say... is it going to blow up if I do this? Voter choice, that's what it was. Welcome, thanks for following. I didn't catch who that was, but thank you. Much appreciated. If anybody else is in here and hasn't clicked the follow button, make sure you do that, as you will get notified when we go live next. Does it blow up if we do that? How do we initialize an array with a set of zeros? Initialize an array with a single value. Yeah, that's the one. While array size is... that actually works rather nicely. That's clever. I like that. Array size dot fill. There you go. With that value. So, what that means is that when we get our vote start and our choices, we want to say votes equals array and its choices dot length and fill it with zeros. That works too, Wheatlall. Valid C harp. Alright, so array choices length, array.fill on that. Alright, vote end. Let's take a look at that then. So that initializes that. That will set the value at the location that they choose. Oh, voter choice -1. Sorry. Almost screwed that up because zero-based and you guys don't vote zero-based. Gotta convert to and from that because of the horribleness that I did there. I know it's awful. So over here I should be able to refresh, I think, and then just Java and F# with a count of 1. Oh, did 2 people vote for Java? Yeah, they just, no double votes, they just overwrote, but the message could be improved. Oh, yeah, you don't actually get to vote twice. So if you thought you got to vote twice, then you were fooled by the message. Okay, so there's our numbers. Vote, what do I want, vote 2? Nope. Alright, so it doesn't actually get in here just yet. Let's see, sources, JS, voting, oh, right there. So this is not, oh, whoops, vote 1. So this is not actually working perfectly yet because this will double count votes the way this code is written. So, vote info has 1, that's what I typed in, and DevChatter is the name of the voter. So let's Oh, it did lowercase it. Oh, son of a gun, it fixes it. I hadn't realized it did that. That's awesome. Never mind. I am corrected. The official badger. We are sending data using a service called Signalar. And VFRZ, welcome as well. Glad to see everybody here. Java wins with 3 votes. Good job, everybody. So, turns out, when it translates, it actually fixes that info so that it is the correct JavaScript setting there. Java. Maybe it's Jawa. Did you think about that? Thanks, Sir Trollis. I agree. It's Jawa. Alright. I didn't stop the bot, did I? I don't remember if I stopped the bot or not. Every once in a while I'm not thinking and I just click buttons and I'm like, did I do a thing? Alright. So this is not going to work yet. But let's get that up there. Vote 2. Voted for C#. Vote info is a 2. Hey, there we go. So now here's the problem. You guys noticing the problem yet? just a slight problem, you know, slight problem. All right. Yeah, it's a feature. It's a feature. What are we talking about? It's a way. So, the actual voting system doesn't do that, but it's a problem with the display when we put it on the screen like that. So, we can double count a vote. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. If we treat that actually as a vote change, we could record who voted, but I don't really want to do that on the display. So our options are this. We can either send down what the current vote count is each time, say what the person voted for, and send down the current vote, something like that. Yeah, so exactly, Wheatlol. That's what I was saying. The server could send down what the vote is so that the display doesn't actually do it. And it wouldn't really ask for it. It'd really just receive it, I think, is the idea. So, vote info, we're going to change how that works. So, vote info is going to have the name of the voter, what they voted for, and what the current vote count is. But we're not going to pass down the names again. VFRZ, not for any companies. I've done some side projects. I've built a rogue... we built like a rogue clone back when I was in college, which was kind of fun, and I've done some other little game programming, just side projects, nothing serious. So... we'll do vote totals. Vote totals. Okay, so vote totals for now. And when this is created, so where did we make that? Right here. Int array vote totals. And that I might just not sure how I feel about that being an array, but we'll deal with it for now. Vote totals equals that. Let me see. Can't just server decide if it's a valid vote and then event it to JS? Actually, we allow a change in the vote. So the options I would have is I could send down what their vote is and what their previous vote was to update there on the display, but then you get into all kinds of weirdness with trying to make sure you don't make any mistakes. Whereas on the server, if we just make sure that's where the source of truth is, we can just send down what the current vote total is here. The official badger. Signalar is using WebSockets. This is WebSockets. SignalR relies on them in the back end. Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's the idea. So we are allowing a vote change. So you can vote for something else and it does change it. So that's the problem. That's why it gets weird. Okay, so let's see. Votes received internal. So we send that. We send on the vote totals. So I'm actually just gonna do a build, and it's gonna tell me where this is. All right, there we go. Just leaning on the compiler for a second. There we go. Alright, so... this is... Where did we update the votes? How do you know the total votes? That's votes. What did we do? Choices, select votes, start votes, get results of a vote. Vote count is just choice votes, votes where vote values that group that. Okay. So that means we want to say underscore votes. Hang on. This is going to be vote totals. Bar vote totals equals, and this is going to be votes dot group by it is by value. Let's see. Why does the JavaScript now need the voter choice and voter name exactly? Wheatlol, because we want to display them. That's the only reason why. Realistically, they only need the voter name to display it, probably, except that I'd like to be able to say, you know, Wheatlol votes for JavaScript, kind of thing. But I guess at that point I'd be better off taking the choice name instead of the value. So you are right there. So group by that. And then I want to get... You know what? I'm doing this twice. I did this once. Where'd we get vote totals? Let me get that. Choice votes list, and that's... Group by that. Top vote count equals that. This is a weird value, isn't it? Yeah, we can't do that because I made it one of these. Choice key... vote. So that is vote new vote count. I'm going to create a type called a vote count. It is going to have choice key as a type and whoops, not an Alt-Shift-Enter. And it's going to have votes as that. So here's why I'm creating this type. Now this has a type. It's a generic list of vote counts. So what I can do is extract out a method for this and say get vote counts. Which I am going to use the exact same code up here because that's a little nicer to have shortcutted to that. And what I want to do is this. I need to convert this. Wheatlol, it may. Hey, PDX Insomniac. Not a whole lot's up. Just doing some coding today. Dictionary should be ordered. Also, maybe even make it a list. Yes, we might change to a list. Sorry, the official badger, I've got the hype turned off. Hype is not on right now. So I want to say choices dot select. Instead of this, I want its total. So what I'm going to say is choice equals choice arrow, and say oh, actually, funny enough, I could have just done it this way and say votes count. I could have just counted it this way and then just done this, and this actually would have been nicer. I think I'm going to go this way. Oh, I can't call it choice here, so whoops, my bad. C dot key, and then to array. Store it as an array that's called vote totals, and I don't need that anymore. And in fact, then, I don't actually need to have pulled that out, but I guess it's nicer being out anyway, so we'll go with that. That's fine. I think we hype the winner, yes. Okay, so I think that fixes what we were doing there. Let me try building. Let's see if that works at all. So we're passing that in. That should get down here, and then in our vote info, instead of getting this, we're getting the actual votes object now. So votes is going to just equal vote info dot vote totals. Totals. Typing is hard. Vote totals. Okay, let's try it. Let's see what it does. Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed. What are you working on specific? PDX Insomniac, I will show you in a second. So, we're doing a little bit of cleanup of some of the branches that we had lying around, and this one specifically is related to voting. Is there a vote going? Did I leave one running? Nope. Vote new. JavaScript, Java. Let's see. C#, F#. What other languages do we know? There's Rupee. So there we go. And now if I vote for 3, vote 3, vote 3, vote 1, vote 3. Nice, it's shifting around. There we go. So those numbers now update as we do that. So that's what we were setting up. So there's nice feedback on that. So it is actually using WebSockets. Someone had mentioned before that we should look at that. And SignalR actually does use WebSockets. I couldn't remember how to spell rupee. Think like Legend of Zelda rupee. I don't remember how it's spelled. Maybe it's 2 P's. I don't know. But there we go. So our little rectangle we put around it, our voting numbers. So you can change your votes, updates, and we can tell kind of who the winner is at any given moment, but it would be really nice if there was some visual indicator there as well. So that's what we're going to want next. So vote Finn, there we go. Sorry, C# wins with a vote count of 3. So that's what we were building. This... Sorry, Janiscu, I don't... you gotta vote by number. You gotta vote by number. Yeah, so S&B, I was thinking bar chart as well, so you can see whichever one has the longest bar is clearly winning. Someone had suggested pie chart before, but the problem with a pie chart, it lets you tell what the large groups are in the whole. But if you have two similarly sized sections of pie, it's actually not easy to tell them apart. Whereas a line, you can actually just look straight down and be like, which one's the furthest over. It's easier for comparison to identify the furthest along. Okay, so this is display vote totals, number and totals. So we're going to display the vote numbers and totals. You should make a line. Yeah, we could do something like that too, although I'm not sure how much value that one's going to get us right now. And, so I know there are probably a bunch of new people here. In addition to the fact that our stuff is out on GitHub, and you can check it out, we also have a Discord that is actually fairly active. So if you do want to talk to other developers, that is a place to do it. Okay, let's go ahead and push that up. We're going to let it get a build going. We're not ready to merge this in yet, but it should be in a good place now. So I like that change. Are you going to add any concurrency handling, locking around the voting system to apply vote? We are probably going to add that at some point, but I'm not super worried about it just yet. For anyone that's wondering what, apply vote right here. So in this, we're just taking this total section here and just, apply vote right here. We are going to the vote and votes, chat user display names, setting the value. So if we set based on that, I wasn't planning on locking around it, but we can. We can definitely lock around the dictionary. We have locks in some other places in the application, so we could lock around this if we wanted to, just to make sure that that we don't run into any issues where two things are trying to modify the dictionary at the same time. I wasn't super worried about it, but it could come up, so it would be worth potentially locking that down. I'd rather refactor the code a little bit first before we did that, because it's not super clean right now, because we kind of just shoved it together real fast. So let's see. So votes, chat user display name, chosen number. Yeah, because the other thing is we're actually just doing it based on display name and not like their ID even, because we could do like user ID, which would actually probably be a better way of recording it anyway, because that doesn't change. Yeah, exactly, Will Bennett. They should be updating their own index, so it should not technically, like, it probably won't cause a problem unless the same user could get their message in twice, at which point we'd be in a weird spot, but it might be possible somehow. That's why I point out, like, it'd be a weird one, so I'm not super worried about. So, chat user, user ID, chosen number. I think it's better to do it this way. Votes. Do I reference based on display name anywhere else? Display. Nope. Okay, so that's the only reference in here. So this was literally the only time we actually checked that value. So I'm going to use user ID instead. Now, for anyone that is wondering, your display name in chat, for example, for me, I just said hi there. Mine is DevChatter, and it appears there as DevChatter, obviously. But my user ID is unchanging. I could actually update my username. I could just change that display name. Just said it can't send a message because I'm trying to send messages too quickly. Oh, Will, yeah, so I can send messages that fast. Moderators can. We're not restricted in how fast we can send messages to our own chat. So, and sorry for spamming the chat with highs. Okay, so votes, valid number. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that ought to work. Let's see. Record based on user ID instead of display name. Okay. So something I was thinking about. Actually we need to change this. There's the other thing we need to change. I knew there was something else we needed to get to before we actually called this voting piece done. Let's see. So for now, I'm putting this together in a way I'm not a... There's something I want to change about this. On our overlay right now, I have it taking the full screen. So on our screen here, we are wiring this up to take up the full space. But I'm not sure I want to keep doing it that way. So we have main canvas, we have hangman canvas. Main canvas is almost like animation canvas. So maybe I should rename this. Whoops. Why did that come up with none? Do I have C# as my choice? Yes, I do. Star. Find all. Where's main canvas used? We're going to change this name from main canvas to animation canvas. So, animation canvas. That all of them? Main canvas. Yep, that's all of them. Okay. So let's go back here, and we have main context, which I think now I can rename to animation context. And that should have been somewhere else too. Oh, it got it. Good. Search for main context, it's gone. Cool. There we go. Star.star. Yep, star.star. I know doing star.star doesn't really do much, but... Okay, so, there we go. So that's animation canvas. I think that makes sense. Change main canvas to animation canvas. And the context is matching with that, so I'm not worried about mentioning the context name change. So we did the hangman canvas there as well. Now what I'm wondering is, do we want a third canvas, or do we want to change the hangman canvas to instead be the overlay canvas, at which point the overlay canvas will handle all games and notifications and other things like that. I feel like we probably want a separate page. Echo Strike, I think we'd freak people out if we did that. But I like the feature request idea, it's kind of funny. So for anyone that missed that, Echo Strike was suggesting that anyone that's lurking in chat and not talking, that the bot like whisper, "Hey, why you no speak?" And I think that would freak everybody out, to be honest. If you don't want to talk, that's totally cool. I don't mind. You can be here and not talk. I'm okay with that. For now, I'm gonna make an extra canvas, and we're gonna call this the voting canvas. Because we're not going to use the hangman canvas, we're going to use the voting canvas. So in theory, they could both happen at the same time. Yeah, ThinkBot Labs, I am totally okay with that. Let's get our freak on. Thanks, Brave Cobra. Add feature requests to add issues to stream in GitHub. That's a good idea, Stoolpenner. Why don't you add that feature request as a feature request in the issues on GitHub? And there you go, Stoolpenner. Have a link to our GitHub, because I know you couldn't find that. And yes, we do have lurk and unlurk commands for anyone that is wondering. So let's go ahead and do this. So, let me get that. Voting canvas from the voting canvas, and that makes this, instead of hangman context, it's the voting context. So, voting context is the one we're going to use for voting. So, vote start, vote received, vote end. So that is now so we're now using a separate context for these. And Tales of Me, congratulations on lurking. Thank you for that, much appreciated. We do not mind if people want to lurk here, and if you have to duck away, feel free to leave the lurk. So just mute your tab. If you need to get something done, you need to take a call, and we will still be here when you get back, unless the stream ended, at which point we're not here then. But I think you got that. I don't think anyone is confused by how that works. Okay, so let's try this. Vote new. Hang on one second. There we go. So there we go. Important question, everybody. It's now time to vote. It's very important that we get everybody's votes in while I play this game of Hangman. Hey, there you go. So the overlay seems to be working. We're trying that out, so we can have both things going at once. It gets a little messy because they seem to cover each other up, but I don't really have much of a way around that right now, but cool that that works. Wow, man, Charmander is winning right now. Everybody seems to love Charmander. Okay, so vote end. Looks like that works. So definitely the second canvas for that is what we want. And also, since no one tried it, hype emote works over there too. The hype command. Except now it's limited to that box instead of my whole screen. But there we go. Nice. I like it. I like it. Add voting canvas. Thought that worked out well. So there's our voting canvas. Bonk. Adding basic voting display. Display. We may want to put that somewhere else too, but we'll figure that out. So there we go. It says it's out of date, but we can update that branch just fine. So now it's going to do these builds for us. It's going to run our unit tests, everything like that. So if I missed something, it should get it fixed. Not much to that, to be honest. It was pretty simple. So... There we go. Hype, hype! Are you having fun chatting with other developers? Join our Discord to continue chatting after the stream. Thanks, DevChatter bot. What a great idea. Also, other things I want to mention, for anyone who is wondering, we will have a guest on the stream on Thursday, so I do want to mention this while I still have everybody here. We are going to be doing some pair programming with Kevin Griffin on the stream, and that is listed right there. So we are here, as I said, nothing special today, just doing some coding, so just a regular one. I usually don't put anything on the schedule for that. If you are interested in seeing this info, you can actually check this out right here. I will link that in chat so you guys can get to this page also. As I said, Kevin Griffin will be pairing with us on Thursday, so that should be fun. And on Saturday, we're going to do Solid Saturdays, episode 4. So it's going to be Interface Segregation Principle, and that link that I just posted in chat will take you here, which has information about Solid Saturdays, including a Remind Me button. So if you want to make sure that you get reminded about the stream, that's the way you do it. We're going to be talking about the Interface Segregation Principle, and we're going to discuss where we're following it in our codebase, and we're going to look at some examples of interface segregation and how it helps us in the places where we are following it nicely. After we talk about that, we'll be doing some live coding, and our discussion will try to focus it on interface segregation so that we can sort of reinforce some of those ideas. So, oh, right, whoops, vote, new, and actually I should do 2, 3, 1. There we go. It is now the impossible to vote for voting hour. How do you vote for? Which one did you vote for? No, I want 2 meaning 1. No, 3 meaning 2. Exactly, Wheatlol. I want to vote for 2 meaning 1. What? Okay, did that finish yet? Derpy, derpy, derpy. Nope. Wait, what? Vote 1, 2, 3. Echo Strike voted for 2. What? I'm confused by that, Echo Strike. Oh, right. 2 is 1. 1 is 2. Oh, God. Oh, God. That's so confusing. This was the worst idea I've ever had. Yeah, it only takes the first value. We only look at that first parameter. So I could say, you know, like, hang on. Let me make this better. Vote end. Vote. Vote new. JavaScript. C#. Objective C. And then we'll do like vote 3 because I like ugly languages. Oh, give me a break, Wheatlol. I'm just typing in some stuff. So I could say vote 3 because I like ugly languages, and there you go, see? Alright, so you can see the voting coming in, and someone hyped. Good job, Echo Strike. And the cool thing is that our other one stays there while that goes out and does the thing. Ooh, we're over top of it. Cool. Voting is apparently above the animation layer. So that's neat. I didn't know that. I didn't think about when I was putting them in. It's just the order it comes in. Alright, let's take a look at what more branches we need to get rid of. So we've got some mud related stuff. We've got the domain events, so we have 3 mud branches that are sitting around. We need to do something with this. I'm gonna nuke these 2 old branches that I don't think we're gonna use anymore anytime soon. That's that. And yes, I'm not afraid of deleting branches that I don't think we're using again. Oh, did anyone get in the feature request? Feature request? No one put in the feature request. Feature request. We'll have to take a look at that. Vote end. And Objective C wins. Alright, let's try and get a display on there while we're doing this. So let's open up voting.js again. Ooh, I just had an idea. How did we do the Hangman.js game? How did we display the you win stuff? What did I do for that? I cleared out the whole rectangle and I added that text and I did a display game over. Where did we call that from? In the overlay JS, we must have Oh, you put it on the stream info repo. Yeah, I would toss it on the DevChatter bot itself. I'll delete it out of stream info. So we did that. When we received the vote. So, okay, here's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I know, right? Well, wait, like, I don't remember how I did everything. So here's what I want to do. I want to go back to our canvas. So overlay CS HTML. So we have Hangman canvas, animation canvas, and voting canvas. When we clear this out, we're doing that. I want notifications. So I go by that spelling, but that's the that's so my name is Brendan and I sometimes go by Brendonius on the internet. It's a slight variance because, you know, the name sounds good. But, you know, meh. If people spell my name with an O, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not worried about misspellings. It's not a huge deal. Languages are hard. The original Irish spelling of the name is, yes, Sarah Brendan Brendonius Enric. Exactly. Sounds good, Stoolpenner. Much appreciated. I'll take a look at it later. So here's what I'm thinking. We have Hangman animation and voting canvas, and I want another canvas created that is going to be... Now, I'm creating these as canvases right now here on this overlay, but what we may end up doing instead, it is possible that what we'll do is we'll create separate pages for these that could get loaded on the page. So some will be part of the overlay in games and things like that, and other ones could be on other pages. So we'll have to figure that out, because it's how we load them into OBS. So this is the notification canvas. And notifications, I want this to be like a queue almost, where it checks to see, do I have a notification? Then okay, I'm going to go ahead and display one. And that's how this one's going to work. Echo Strike, the canvases are HTML5 canvases, not a special Razor thing. And I don't even think I'm using any Razor no, I'm not using any Razor properties on them. So this is standard HTML. This could be an HTML page. I don't even need it to be a CSHTML. But the reason I set it up as a CSHTML file is I thought that there might end up being at some point some server-side data that I wanted to just load at, you know, when it's initially requested, and so I was like, if I end up doing that, I'd rather it be a Razor page already instead of having to change it. And the cost of using a Razor page instead of static HTML is very minimal. Okay, so let's jump over here and... What did I get on my clipboard? Notification canvas. So inside of overlay.js, I am going to make my overlay canvas be a thing. My notification canvas, I should say. Notification context. So now we have that. We should have the notification context, and I'm not a huge fan of how that's wired up, but let's duplicate this. So instead of voting, this is going to be notification. Notifications. There we go. Notifications. So there we go. We'll do the same structure. So we'll have return add notification. That's what we'll call it. So we'll just expose add notification for now. And actually, I almost want to do like a pause and resume. Whoops. Pause and resume. Okay. Var paused. Let's say is active. Equals true, we'll say. We don't need these. We want something instead of vote and, what did I call it? Add notification, pause, and resume. So add notification. And actually, I am going to say start init, which I don't know if I'll need or not, but I'm going to start with an init. So add notification. This is going to be init, pause, resume, var context equals nothing. Init ctx equals ctx. So we're going to pass in our context in our init method. notifications equals an empty list. So we're going to push on the notifications. So this is okay, so notification, we're going to push that onto the set. And then next thing we want to do is our isActive. We are going to pause equals false and resume equals true. True. So we're not using the value yet. And yes, I know I still have my voting stuff on here. Don't worry about that. We'll clear that out. When we init, we want to do something. We need some kind of a background loop that gets started when we do this. I'm gonna have to think about how I want to do that. So start the background loop here. Okay, so start the background loop there. Let me get this while I'm thinking about it. Okay. So notifications is active, context, start the game loop there, pause, resume. So that's a good question. Oh, let's ask the interwebs. Background loop JavaScript, and actually let's let it be async. Hang on. Let's think of it this way. Is this what I want? No. No, that's way too weird. What theme am I using? In Visual Studio, that's the dark theme, if that's what you mean. No. This may be more complicated than we want. It totally is. What is this? Well, that's nifty. That's actually really hilarious. Anyway, that was kind of funny. An inferior version of material dark. Yeah, I'm just using the standard dark theme. If you're wondering why my tabs look a little bit different, that actually is not from a theme. That is from an extension called the Productivity Power Tools, which which really is just a collection of other extensions, one of which is called the Document Well. And the Document Well is basically just what they call this tabbing structure. And all of my tabs are color-coded based on which project they're from, and they are grouped based on that project as well. So if I open, say, something out of this project here, you'll see that the tab is a different color. So, for ones out of that. So, yep, that's the idea. Can you explain what is being returned? Are those named properties? Echo Strike, what do you mean? What is being returned? Are you talking about down here? This? That's essentially a way of, in JavaScript, sort of making those be like the public members. So anything that gets the notification object has access, is really getting back this object, which has references to this. So this is really what they have when someone tries to access notifications. Yep, that's all that is. So it's this object of which I've assigned the add notifications property to each of these methods. So think of it like calling it public. Productivity Power Tools is the name of the extension. So you can find it right down, where is it? Productivity Power Tools, right here. It's created by Microsoft. It's a pretty good set of stuff. So, and thanks for that, Stool Penner. Echo Strike, basically yes. We're returning back an anonymous object from our notifications. So essentially what that means is this notifications object here that we create is going to be this object. And we're automatically going to create it by just running it right off the bat. So what happens is when this gets called, it automatically creates this structure and passes that back. So this is like the it's a JavaScript way of basically making these be the public members of this object. Dungeon Smasher. Yeah, the grouping of the tabs is sometimes useful because I know where I'm working. I know what I'm working in because of it. But it does take a little bit of getting used to because a lot of us develop habits for whatever style of setup we've got. So if you're used to your tabs working differently, it will be weird at first. So, okay. So I want to announce the votes. So vote received. We want context. So start the background. Anyway, I was looking for something. Where is that? Nope, I didn't leave it open. Okay. JavaScript async async loop. No, I want to start up an async loop. Yes, implementing an async loop in JavaScript. How do I do that? No, that doesn't look like what I want. That I don't think is what I want. Is this the guy? Is this guy's thing how I want to do it? So that's a synchronous loop. Yep, async loops. Here we go. Hang on. I just have alphabet only. So each notification will create its own object. Do you need... No, Echo Strike. Essentially what happens is when the JavaScript runs the first time, quick explanation. So this file gets included on the page. When that happens, what it'll do is it will create a notifications object. This notifications object, there will be one on the page because this code was executed once. This object will get created by this code. When this code returns, what it actually returns is this anonymous object right here that has this set of properties on it. In this case, these are each functions. These functions are the only thing anyone else can access. So anybody else that calls notifications dot has access to these four methods, and that's all they can call on it. So we should. Well, isn't that basically parallel with a single thread though? Yeah. JavaScript async await infinite loop. I want an infinite loop. Infinite loop. Infinite loops. Oh, actually, I guess I could just start up an now that I think about it, I guess I could just start that. Where I just do one of these inside of it. Hang on. Okay. How do they do it? Is it, do they say async function? Like that, if I remember correctly? And then I could just get away with doing that. What do? They awaited that and then awaited a new promise. I don't know. I'm not sure what they're doing. Oh, where did I put sleep? I made a sleep method, didn't I? That's funny. I made a little convenient little sleep function that we could use instead of actually putting the promise in there. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna while true with a sleep in it. Which is not the best thing in the world, but it's not the worst either. Can I get away with that? While true. Unexpected constant condition. If is active. How do I get ESLint to not yell at me about my infinite loop? Anybody know? If is active, and what do I want to say? Notifications. I'm actually gonna do this because I'm weird. Notifications length is 0. Then I want to do some fancy stuff. You want a timed scheduled action. Not exactly Wheatlow. Hang on. I think you might want to do is set interval. Since that will execute a callback every specified milliseconds while not blocking the... Oh, I think instead of set an interval instead of a set a timeout. Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure what's gonna. That is a great suggestion. I will take a look at that. So thank you for that. I will check the difference between those in a moment. Let me finish my thought here. Let's say display notification. Display notification for. Okay, so we'll call this function we don't need to pass anything in, we'll just do that. And single loop of this, display notification. So we're not going to do this. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so I'm actually realizing I should put that one there, and instead of using CTX like we are, we should use context is what we called it. We don't display choices. So get rid of that. Okay, let me check out what is the difference between set interval and a timed scheduled action. Wheatlol, I'm not sure. Set timeout just calls the callback once after the specified delay. Set interval calls it endlessly at the given interval. Ooh, yeah, that might be what we want. That is great. Great point. JavaScript set interval. Is this going to say hello every 3 seconds? I think this is exactly what we wanted, so that is a fantastic suggestion. This is exactly what we wanted. That is perfect. So, thank you. We will do that. That's great. That is totally what we wanted. So, let's do this. So, set interval, and the function is, instead of that, it's going to be... Instead of alert, it's going to be this. Glorious. That is simply glorious. That is fantastic. Thank you. Much appreciated. Let me see. But I mean, Conrad. You would have to dig into how the jazz there's okay, so we got that. So we're going to add notifications. So we push one on this. We say if we have one, display it, and alright, so we don't want to do that. We don't need this. We're going to clear the rectangle. We're going to set some kind of style. I almost want to display an image, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. I am going to... Where do I fill my rectangle? Right there. So we're going to put this... what's the halfway point? I'm going to hard code it for now, so I apologize for that, everybody. So we're going to say 1920 divided by 2 gets us 960 minus, what, we're going to make it 200 wide. So we're going to hard code the initial one, so that's our starting point. No, 200 wide, so that's 860 is our x value. .200 wide, and we're going to make it 100. So the other one's going to be by 1080. Oh, derp. When you're thinking like, yeah, I need to make sure I don't mess this up. So let's see how that rectangle looks. Senior K, welcome. Thanks for following. Anybody else that's in chat that is enjoying the stream at all, make sure you go ahead and hit that follow button so you get notified when we go live. So let's clear out those. So there's our fill style, and actually I'm going to do this because we are going to be writing some text in there. We just comment these out for now instead of doing that. So what we're going to do is this. Display notification. Set interval, so it'll display for 4 seconds. So we run this unit, it's going to display. Four seconds, we clear that out. Okay, we're going to do it that way. We're going to clear context at the beginning, and then we're going to draw a thing if we need a thing. So, there we go. And thank you for that follow, by the way. And for the information. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to test this once. So we're not wired up actually to work. But I'm going to call notifications anyway because I can. Because we made those methods public, I think. So I can kind of sort of fake it. So here's what I'm going to do. Where is it? Ooh, I didn't wire that up anywhere yet because we don't actually have anything that calls it. But I should be able to do this on my own. So let's go to the overlay page. Overlay. So notification canvas. Let's grab notification context now as well. Notification context. Yep, okay, I've got it. So let's call init. So notifications.init. And we're going to pass in notification context. I'm not hiding. Nope, it's not behind my head. So there we go. That passes that in. And it should be running now, I think. Notifications dot add notification. Did I do anything? I just push on whatever. Anything. There's our little rectangle. Does it ever disappear? It should disappear. I thought it was going to disappear. Just to make sure I check that, we're going to clear this out. Whoops. Derp. I'm going to put this in the top left corner again, because I want to see that should be getting cleared, I thought. Set interval, function, context, clear the... Should have cleared it, I would have thought, if that were running the way I thought it would. 1 second, I saw someone post in chat, but notifications init, add notification. So within a few seconds, it should add the rectangle when it sees that we have one there. I think. Searchmeister. I've been coding for a couple of decades. So, quite a while, actually. I added a link to a video about the event loop in the JS realm over at Discord, for those of you who want to know. Stoolpenner, awesome, thanks. So, just a heads up, what Stoolpenner's talking about is we have a Discord chat that is full of useful information for anyone who wants to chat with anybody else. Lots of good stuff. Stat444, do I have any experience with deploying ASP.NET Web apps to Azure? Yes, I do. I am primarily an ASP.NET developer. I use a lot of ASP.NET Core, and I do like Azure, and I have put stuff there before. Only add dynos. Yeah, Brave Cobra, we're sort of just creating our own pop-ups. Is all we're doing. Since the previous century? Yeah. So, yep, I've been programming for quite a while. I do a lot of stuff in C# these days. It's my language of choice, but, no, Brave Cobra, I'm sure there are libraries that can solve a lot of this. But part of the reason we're doing it this way is more as a learning thing than anything else, because we want to learn some of this low-level stuff. So if someone wants to come along at some point and switch us to a library for these, you're welcome to make suggestions of libraries if you want to track one down that you think would work well and we could put it in together. And that is totally fine. Context, clear rectangle. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to see that running. So let's toss a breakpoint on... It's not open, is it? Nope. Alright, let's open up notifications. Oh, I never cleared it. Derp. I never cleared it. It's working just fine. I'm just being crazy. That's why it's not working. That's my bad. So I never popped it out. So what do I want to do? I could... Guess I can just pop the item off and just do this. So we'll do that for now. Display notification. Let's call this notification. That'll be our text. So text width equals context measure text dot width. That's what we want. Right there. So there's text width. So this is going to be what, plus maybe 20 pixels on either side? Something like that. Will this figure that out? Nice. Text measurement, text width, and then context font, so then we're gonna say text height. Text height is this, and then dot height. There we go. Text height is that, plus 20 pixels, sure, why not? Okay, so what do we have going on in chat? If you want to render something with set interval, then request animation frame. Could be Conrad. So we are doing that in our animation frame. That's actually how we wire that one up. But this one, we want it to appear and just disappear after that amount of time. So we're not planning on doing anything more with that. If I were planning on having it like slide up and things like that, I might do that instead. I want to start learning code myself, and do you know any good websites or something where I can learn to code? Searchmeister! I actually know of something that you should check out. Interestingly, I actually have done a learn to code with C#. There are other great places too, which I will point you out also. But if you want to learn C#, we occasionally do some learn to code in C# streams here on the channel. And if you can't find them there, then they're on YouTube. So our videos are actually in both places. So there's a playlist for Learn to Code in C#, but there's also that link to the events. So we do some streams here where we are at a beginner level. So that's actually a good place to start for learning to program using C#, which is a professional programming language that is currently used at a lot of places. So it's a good starting point. Is this greenfield? What are you working on? Or did it exist before you and you are modifying? Conrad Reuter, no, we just set that up today. This notifications.js file. We're just kind of shoving it together real fast. It's not meant to be like, you know, this is the ideal of how to do notifications in JavaScript. It's just a little bit of messing around with JavaScript. It's supposed to be fun. So, let's see. So we pop that off, send it there, and who's the last element? Returns it. Oh, Brave Cobra. Nice. There we go. Yeah, no, I agree, Conrad Reuter. There's definitely some things in there that are kind of out of date. But if you take a look, you will actually see that we do have some of that already in here. If you take a look in this, you will see that, yeah, as I said, I'm by no means an expert in JavaScript. I'm a C# dev, not a JavaScript dev. There's definitely a significant difference. So what? We shoved this one together with a... Nope, that's not the one. It must be in here. Ah, yes. Right here, request animation frame. So this is what you were talking about, Conrad Reuter. Request animation frame, that's what you were suggesting. Yeah, well, Bennett, I could use TypeScript, but I'm having fun with this one. And GamerGirl365, welcome, thanks for following. Anyway, where was I on this? We are... notifications. So, text type, that size. Letter const, but never var. That's yeah, that's fair, Conrad Reuter, because I do know that let changes what the scoping is. Val, never var. Yeah, I just kind of have some old habits there, so I could be letting like that. So this could be let, and that could be let, right? I could do those, and that'd be fine. I've been using Code Academy to learn Python, also Free Code Camp to learn HTML, and nice, Searchmeister. Yes, I approve. That's exactly what you want to do. Does it accept GitHub links? Brave Cobra, I forget if any GitHub link works, but I think they do. Definitely accepts Microsoft Docs links for the most part. But I would like to stick with Python for now. That's cool, Searchmeister. So this stuff's actually pretty similar. So Will Bennett, we're probably going to cover some other coding principles, maybe some algorithms, maybe some data structures, things like that. So I will take a look at that, Brave Cobra. What is this? Notifications. Show tip, show async. Oh man, that's nice. Oh, love it. Okay, Brave Cobra, you win. We'll use these. We'll use these. I like it. All right, so clearly we need to switch to using this, otherwise Brave Cobra is going to kill us now. Does it always appear in the corner? Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna... Well, Conrad, we knew we were gonna have to get into that eventually. Ooh, we could just download the source like back in the 90s. Anyway, let's do this. this is adding notifications. This is all that's here, is adding notifications. So I can pull that in. And then let's take a look on the server. Remote stuff. This should be ready to go. So we're going to do this piece. Merge it in to the master branch. Because we were waiting for that to finish. Now, since that's merged in, we can come over here and change what we're doing. So this is now a new branch, which actually, can I grab master or is it going to yell at me? It's going to yell at me. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Get status, get stash dash u, and then we're going to check out master, get pull, get checkout, get checkout dash b, Benric, notifications, overlay notifications, get stash pop. That's what we were doing. Okay, so now we're on a new branch over here, and I'm going to go ahead and save this. Yeah, so Wheatlaw, some of those ones you mentioned actually are there on our list. Hey, Horkrine, welcome. Let me catch up on chat here. Sorry about that, everybody. Reinvent the wheel anti-pattern. Yeah, so interestingly, Brave Cobra, I'm actually never worried about reinventing wheels here on the stream because our point is not to always... The point of the stream here is not to always build like the best tool. We're not working in like a production environment. We're not doing this code for business or something like that where it's irresponsible to reinvent a wheel, both because you may not reinvent it as well as the original version, and it also spends a lot of time, because we're more doing this as education and fun. So we actually get free reign to reinvent as many wheels as we want. So that's actually the fun part of the stream, is that if we want to reinvent a wheel, we can invent a wheel. At the same time, though, you are absolutely correct. Occasionally, we do want to throw things out and go use the existing wheel, which we plan to do. So, I like that thought. I really like those notifications. They look awesome. So, I'm still going to commit this here, but it's on a separate branch now. So, adding in some notification stuff. Exactly, Wheatwell. A not invented here pattern. Will Bennett, I have thought about doing F#. So actually, for anybody that knows the F# Fridays that Fritz was doing for a while, the funny thing is, the first day that he did that, the day before it, I'd actually had an F# developer on our stream here as a guest, and I thought that was hilarious. I was like, oh, we were planning on doing F# today. You're doing it tomorrow? Well, that's weird. Well, either way. So anyway, and Binary Guy, thanks for following. Maybe at that point I'm learning, just reading code. I've been doing this too long, I guess. Yeah, Brave Cobra, we do that a lot. You had an issue today that you were tempted to message about and ask. Oh. Well, as you know, Horkrine, there are a bunch of us in Discord, so if you do end up wanting to chat with other people about stuff, there are always us in there. As long as it's a round wheel, I'm cool. Nice, Will. Can I come and troll then? Brave Cobra, what do you want to troll about? What are you planning on trolling us over? Yeah, so what Conrad's actually mentioning about sometimes libraries can't be customized, that's actually one of the reasons why why I've had a lot of problems with third-party libraries, third-party components within the developer space. So many of you might know that ASP.NET Web Forms, for example, was full of a lot of people using third-party libraries for their different widgets and controls and their navigation things and stuff like that. And the problem is, it created whatever it created. If it worked well for your system, cool. Customizing them was always a pain. If they didn't work exactly the way you wanted it, you had very little chance of getting it to work right. So it was a big problem within the ASP.NET space. But you could basically just drag drop like working awesome stuff onto the page, and it was crazy cool. Yes. Exactly, Brave Cobra. That's actually part of the reason why, for a lot of things, I don't buy into the library at first. So you'll notice even with IOC containers, I prefer to not touch the IOC container until I know I need one. Because I've done a lot of microservices in the past, and if you're actually doing microservices and not a distributed monolith, then you, a lot of times, don't even need an IOC container for some of the simpler projects. So you don't even need to add that layer of complexity, because you can just wire it up off the start if it really is a simple, small, little, lightweight, independent service. Okay, so let's take a look at our code. So we were talking about adding that in. I am not going to add in the notifications right now. A couple of things I want to mention. So, you guys had some awesome suggestions for JavaScript, so I want to suggest that people take a look in our Discord and chat with us over there. We don't have enough JavaScript experts over there, so I would love to have some more people that, know better JavaScript than I do. As I said, I'm usually a C# guy, but I can pick things up pretty quickly, so if you have suggestions, let me know on them. And actually, Searchmeister, I would recommend you join as well. And anybody else also. So over in our Discord, I'm not kidding. So Discord's actually a chat application for anybody who doesn't know, which I'm hoping a bunch of you did actually join. Our Discord actually has a reasonable amount of people that chat about coding in there. It's not like a dead chat. So you can actually talk to other people about cool stuff you're working on. There was, for example, there was a bit of an Azure issue today, and that was a topic of conversation earlier today. So that was one of the big things that came up. With the biggest project in our company, we rebuilt a core UI component with 3 different libraries, never worked out, then we built it on our own at least 3 more times. Yeah, that kind of stuff happens, Conrad. Let's see, I wanted to ask that, what if I had learned coding for a long time, then how can I actually start earning money from coding? You find a job working as a software developer, Searchmeister. Some say they get clients to make a website and then you pay them a lot of money for that. But how can you actually make themselves get noticed by others? So I would recommend, if you are just starting out, I would recommend you find a company to hire you. It's much easier than trying to always find other businesses to hire you for things, Searchmeister. Because marketing and finding sales is actually one of the biggest challenges of that. So if you do want to get into actually getting paid for development, definitely find a company to work for as a software developer. And as Conrad Reuter mentions, at the beginning you might have to look for an entry-level position, junior-level positions, internships, things like that to get you in the door, especially if you don't have a degree that for programming. Sometimes when you buy a wheel, you get a car and a gas station attached to it firmly. Yes, that is a good description. I had a problem, I used Java to solve it, now I have a problem helper for some. Nice, Wheatlaw, that's good. I'll actually downgrade to CTO to intern. Nice, Conrad Reuter, yeah. That works. I'm sure there's no pay decrease there. Okay, so I mentioned our Discord. If you are interested in helping out with this project at all, or doing any other open source stuff, you should check out our GitHub. It's at github.com/devchatter and has our various projects on it, including the chatbot that we are currently working on. That's the one that's in the chat there. So if you want to take a look at that, that's the place to do it. I also should mention that we have a YouTube channel that has the archives of our old videos, so if you want to see some of the earlier stuff that we did here, that is something to check out. We also do have our videos going there as well. They're on a bit of a delay. Most of our videos, if you want to see the recent ones, you'll find here on Twitch in the videos section. If you want to follow me on the interwebs, on Twitter, I am at Brandonius, as it says right there below me. But in chat, I also posted a link to the DevChatter Twitter, which is DevChatter with an underscore on the end, because someone is, sitting on the DevChatter name and doesn't actually use it, as always seems to be the case for every name you want. I swear someone ran a bot a bunch of years ago and just took every possible name. Yes, Horcrine, there is a Brandonius in Twitch as well. I can join him into the chat and say hello. Hi. That's me. I'm also at Brandonius here on Twitch. Then also, you may have noticed today, I have been using my I'm Coding little derpy dinosaur mug, and yes, he really is typing with those little grabbers because his arms can't reach the laptop. If you want your own coding mug, we actually do have those now on our merch store. Hey, BG Ricky! We need some hype in the chat, everybody. We need some hype in the chat. Where are those hype emotes? There we go. And, because we got another sub, so that is a 2-month resub from BG Ricky. Thank you very much for the 2 months of Twitch Prime. Greatly appreciated. Let me go ahead and click some buttons real fast. These ones, that one, turn that on. And do that. Boom! There we go. Brave Cobra. Yes, there's a hole in the mug, it leaks everywhere. No, it's green. The dinosaur's green, so you see through it because I'm on a green screen. Yes, it's transparent. That's an added feature. Exactly, S&B. It is a see-through mug. Totally transparent mug. It is filled with delicious beverages, though. Occasionally it's tea, sometimes it's Pepsi. But if you like Coke, you can fill yours with Coke instead. There's no restrictions on that. There's a bug in the alpha channel. I like it. Okay, so other than that, as I mentioned, our next stream is going to be on Thursday. If you don't know when our streams are, go ahead and use our schedule command, a fancy little schedule command, and put in a location of where you are. You can be as specific as you like. You could say a city name or a state or a country, whatever you think is going to get you the right time zone, and it will try to figure out where you are and get you our schedule in your time zone. So for me, it figured out that I am in Eastern Daylight Time, which means that schedule. And there you go, Brave Cobra. Yeah, oh, schedule here. Good try, Will Bennett. Good try. So there you go. Yep, Central European Summertime. We start at 8 p.m. So on Thursday, we're going to start at 6 p.m. So Thursdays, remember, our early day. So that's when our next stream is. And as I mentioned, we are going to have a pair programming stream. So that means up in that corner up there, there is going to be another developer named Kevin Griffin. And he is going to be pair programming with me through the power of VS Live Share. So we'll use that little share button there and bring him in so that he can code along with us on the stuff that we're working on. So there you go. Wait, what? Live share? Yes, Horcrine. So think like Google Docs, but with, Visual Studio instead of a Google Doc. So, yes, Horcrine. It's actually quite awesome. So I haven't had a pair programmer on the stream in a little while. We used to do it fairly regularly, but lately we haven't had him. But you'll see it'll be awesome because he and I will be able to code on the same stuff at the same time. So quite cool. If you haven't seen it, it's an extension that's in preview. Show up on Thursday, and we'll show you how it works. It'll be pretty cool. Anything else I need to mention today? Yes, I need to click a button. So, I want to make sure that I thank everybody that was supporting the stream today. So, S&B and Stoolpenner, thank you for helping out as moderators today. We had a bunch of new people follow, so thank you to everyone that is in that list. Greatly appreciated for the follows. And SudoGet and BG Ricky, thank you for the sub and resub respectively. That was a lot of hype, was very awesome. And I hope everybody enjoyed the stream today. We'll be doing another one on Thursday. Yes, Chattosauruses everywhere. All good stuff. And then Saturday will be our solid Saturday. So on Saturday we are going to be doing the interface segregation principle. So we will see everybody then. Take care, happy coding, and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.